My name is Ridley, and welcome to my kitchen. This is my kitchen how I found it, and today we are going to be continuing on our journey and taking a look at a really fun recipe that the version that we're going to be using is a specific one that I tried to source from Tel Aviv in Israel. However, it's really interesting because this recipe has so many different stories and claims to its origins that I don't particularly feel comfortable backing any of them, because absolutely everywhere I found said that there are contention behind this. And so the dish that we're looking at today is shakshuka. Now, the reason that we are using this particular recipe is it is inspired by a very famous restaurant called Dr. Shakshuka, which a lot of people say is kind of the origin of this variety. I found a couple of different recipes that said they were inspired by it, tried to pull a couple of things together, and that's very appropriate because from my understanding, shakshuka sort of means everything together. It's a hodgepodge and a mixture of different flavors to make almost a stewed tomatoey dish that's also super hearty and full of flavor and spice. And so very similar to the menemen that we tried in Turkey, this is going to have a little bit of tomato, a little bit of eggs, but it's going to have a very different flavor profile to it and much less around kind of the fresh, crisp veggies and have some deeper, smokier tones. So as far as it goes, it is based around some chilies, and the recipes that I've seen say you can use green chilies, or you can use green bell peppers. Now, green bell peppers is great if you want a sweeter version of this. That is not necessarily the traditional way. And also, you can supplement some of your peppers with green bell peppers to add a little bit of extra meatiness or filling to the dish. But I'm going to try and do this a little bit more on the traditional side. So we are going to be using these, which are poblano peppers. You could probably use poblano or Anaheim or jalapeno, depending on the level of spice that you want. And I tried to pick some that I thought were relatively bell pepper sized so that I could kind of use them in place of some of the more Americanized versions that use the sweeter peppers. So we've got our 3 poblano peppers here, not super spicy, but they'll have a little bit of a kick to them. Those get fried up with some garlic and some onions, so you've got your aromatics in there. That gets tossed up with some spice. So here we've got some cumin and some paprika, a little bit of tomato paste, and then to finish it all off, a little bit of this, which is called harissa paste. And harissa paste is kind of a really rich chili paste. It's based more around like garlic and cumin as opposed to, say, red curry paste, which is more of like ginger or lemongrass. But they both have this kind of rich, deep spice flavor to them that's just designed to suffuse a dish with a whole ton of bang. So those spice up the base of tomatoes. And for the tomatoes, I generally like to use fresh tomatoes. But multiple places specifically told me that you want to have overripe tomatoes, almost like a little squishy. And that's not generally something that I find available in supermarkets because by that point they pull them off of the shelves. So instead, I found several that recommended using canned San Marzano tomatoes. They're a little bit of a sweeter variety from Italy. And then get whole peeled tomatoes in a 28-ounce can, so the big ones, and then just crush them up. So we've got this kind of tomatoey goop, but that's just our San Marzano tomatoes. If you have the fresh ones, you can replace these with fresh. Just make sure that you dice them up real nice and that they are on the softer side. Now, once we have that mixture of the peppers, the onions, the garlic, all of those spices and everything stewing together, we're actually going to make some little indentations in that stew and crack eggs directly into those indentations so that the eggs will cook as part of the stew. And then you serve the whole thing directly in the pan with the eggs and the stew and everything. You can scoop straight out of it and garnish with a tiny bit of some fresh parsley or cilantro. But that is going to be our shakshuka recipe, or at least all of our ingredients for it. And the only thing here that I wasn't able to get really ready to go is going to be the peppers. And so for these, we're just going to do very similar to how we've done before, slice these into strips, dice them into some smaller pieces, and that's all the prep that we've got. So I'll get these going here, and then once we've got some nice prepped peppers and everything ready, we'll move back to the stove, and it's a really quick cook on this one, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. So once again, real quick here, we will just stem and seed all of our peppers. dice them up. And then once we've got those ready, all of our prep step is done. So I will see you in a few minutes after I'm done chopping up some peppers. Many times when I'm cutting peppers, I do like to use gloves. These ones are on the milder side, so I'm hoping that I'm not going to deeply regret this in a few minutes. Got some chopped peppers. So as you can see, just a pretty nice dice on them, and that is really all of the prep that we need. So now we're just gonna head back to the stove and start building everything up in a pan. And what I love about this one is that this is also a one pan dish. So we can do all of it in one spot. So I'll check you back there and we'll get it all together. We have got our ingredients prepped here. And so to get this started, I have just heated up a little bit of oil in the pan here. And then we're going to be adding in our onions and just frying these for about 5 minutes or so. What we're looking for is translucency. Once again, we're not gonna try and burn these or brown them. We don't wanna get a caramelization. We just wanna kind of soften them up a little bit. Gonna add a little pinch of salt on there. Little stir, and then we will just fry these ones up for a few minutes until we've got that nice translucency to them. Why does cooking onions smell so good? Multiple times I have roommates wander through going, "Oh, what are you cooking?" It's garlic. It's onions. It's so good. All right, and I'll just let that cook down for a little bit, stirring occasionally over the next, say, 5 minutes. We have some beautifully softened onions here. So now we are going to supplement with our green peppers. If you're using the green bell peppers, you can add everything in right now as well. Our garlic. Add a little bit more aromatics to it. Give it a nice stir, and then we're gonna cook this down for another few minutes, maybe 3 or 4, probably not quite as long as the original set. Again, we're just trying to soften it up and get it all mixed together. Our peppers have softened up. The garlic has added an amazing aroma to this. And I really like the way that this is done because sometimes garlic, when added in too early in a recipe, burns. But this one, you've got plenty of moisture from those peppers that has prevented that, but you still get the great fragrance and flavor from them. Well, flavor we're hoping. So, we believe. All right, now all I'm gonna do is I am going to push all of these ingredients off to one side. So they're gonna continue cooking a little bit over here. And then in this empty spot here, I'll put a little bit of tilt on the pan so some of that oil can release into this area. And then into that oil, we are going to be adding our spice and our tomato paste here. And then these ones we're going to fry up in the oil for about a minute. We're gonna let that darken just a touch and then mix it all together, add in the tomatoes and continue simmering. So we're gonna do spices. We have our tomato paste. careful. Frying it nicely in the oil here. Now you don't want this to burn either, so very, very careful to keep it moving. And you just want to help to bring out the aroma of those spices, which is already happening rapidly. Oh, wow. All right, so that's darkened up. Let's mix it all in. And some tomatoes. And then we're going to bring this to a simmer and let it cook down uncovered for about, I would say, maybe 20 minutes, maybe a little less. So we'll get these mixed. Then I'm going to just turn the temperature a touch down once it's all combined so that we get it to a simmer, but we don't have it actively boiling or bubbling on there. Ooh. All right. And then the paste is clumping a tiny bit, so just make sure you get in there and get it all broken up and distributed throughout the whole tomatoes. That was a real sentence. Okay, I'm going to let this come to a simmer, which actually it looks like it's already almost there. So maybe we'll just drop this down to 3. Kind of a medium-low. I'm going to set this at 18 minutes, and I will just come in and check on it occasionally. We don't want this to cook down all the way. You don't want it to burn on the bottom, so just make sure you're giving it a couple of stirs throughout the time. And there we go. We've got the simmer going. So we will catch you in about 18 minutes and check on it then. And we're back much sooner than expected. I was mistakenly under the impression that the harissa paste needed to be added in towards the end, but it actually should be in right now so that it can really infuse these flavors. So I am going to go ahead and add this off to the side, get it nice and heated up, and then distribute it throughout this so that it can simmer with everything else. Sorry about that. Now we simmer for 15 minutes. Okay, so we have thickened this up quite a bit, and there's a little bit of oil that's been releasing around the edges, which is, I guess, what we're looking for. So now that should be thick enough that the next stage is to take a spoon, and we're gonna actually make some indentations directly into the stew, and that is where we will place the eggs like little cradles. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I've got 7 eggs. That's perfect. So I am just going to try and make some little spaces here. And then I will crack the eggs directly in there. I actually will probably do these one at a time just so that I can make sure that they get in. Okay, so make a little divot. Crack the egg into the little divot. And that'll hold it in place right there. Repeat 7 times, because we've got our 7 eggs here. And then we're going to cover this and let it continue simmering on a lower temperature for about 5-6 minutes with the cover on, or the lid on, and that's going to steam the eggs in here. And they will actually cook as part of this stew. Oh. Go. And we'll do one more. Right in the center. All right, so we've got those there. Cover it up. And then we're gonna let that go for another, I'm gonna put 6 minutes on the timer, but The heat and the moisture that's left in there is going to steam up this area that we've got covered, and that's going to cook the top of the eggs. And then you can cook them to your doneness level. So you can go as far as, I would say, maybe 7 or 8 minutes if you wanted them more on the well done side, closer to 5 or 6 minutes if you like a little more runny yolk. Technically, a traditional one should be medium runny. It shouldn't be super, super thin on the yolk cook, but you do want to have a little bit of cook to it. So we'll give it some time, and we will check back in 5 minutes. Time to check on the eggs. Ah, yes, all right. So whites have cooked through all the way, which is what you want. You don't want any runny, clear, liquidy whites on the top. So technically, our shakshuka is done. We're just going to add a little bit of some fresh parsley here over the top, give it a nice little splash of green and a little bit of freshness. I'm gonna add a little cracked pepper over the top of this. All right, and that's our shakshuka. So I'm gonna head over to the table and we're gonna give it a try straight from the pan, and I'm very excited because it smells spectacular. Alrighty then. So we have seating and we have a Bruce.
Yes.
Okay, so this is our shakshuka. Now, you should be able to scoop out a nice little portion with an egg included. Get a little bit of the extra sauce on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Trade you.
All right.
Get one for me.
I mean, it looks pretty good.
It does. It smells spectacular too.
I'm usually a fan of scrambled eggs, so let's see how well I like this. I don't typically like them any other way.
Fair enough.
So.
And I tend to be a fan for over easy and over medium, so this is kind of right on par for what I like.
Oh, good, they're runny in the middle.
It's supposed to be a little bit, right? Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Success.
It looks probably how it's supposed to.
I hope so.
Let's hope it tastes good, at least.
Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, so here, there's a little bit of set to the yolk, but also a little bit of run. I think that's right about where I want it to be. So
That smells super fresh. There we
Right.
go. Ha ha ha.
It's probably very hot.
Okay.
I'm a fan. I'm a really big fan.
It's not bad.
It's got a really nice punch of flavor to it. It is not too spicy. There's like a little bit of heat, but it's absolutely not like burning up or anything.
I forgot that like half of this are chilies. Yeah, there was a lot of chilies that went into this, but I don't taste spice like hot spice at all.
Mm-hmm.
This is just lots of punchy flavor
And
in a good way.
ingredient-wise, it's very similar to the menemen that we tried recently, but flavor-wise, it's in a very different area.
Oh yeah, very different.
It's got smokiness to it. It's got a lot more earthiness to it. And then also having the eggs separately as opposed to mixed throughout is adding a lot of texture to everything. Now, traditionally, this would be served with pita or challah bread. Challah bread.
Sure.
And I could see that being spectacular alongside this as well. Just kind of fill up on a nice piece of pita bread and take a big bite.
I don't so much mind the egg the way it's prepared here.
Good.
There's just
I
so
was a little
much.
worried.
There's just so much more going on that it's not really a concern.
Mm-hmm. And you don't ever get like a mouthful of yolk.
Yeah,
Like,
what I
that's-
was kind of worried about, and there's a mouthful of all the other like tomato stuff that just kind of overrides the texture for the eggs, I think. So if it's a texture thing for you, it shouldn't really be a problem here.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, if you wanted to, you could always cook a little bit on the longer side to get the yolks all the way set through. But a traditional one should have a little bit of ruddiness to the yolk, a little bit of jiggle. So I'm very happy with how it came out as far as that goes. Although some of the eggs are a little more cooked, but that's fine, because it's delicious.
You know, I think what would make this better is like ham or something.
You like putting meat in things.
I like meat in things. It's just, yeah, I can see like a breakfast ham type thing, or bacon even, but less bacon and more of like the, I don't know, the bits of ham.
And I think that
seared on a skillet or something.
I think that this actually, because technically, this would be vegetarian, not vegan, for sure, not vegan.
Right.
But I can see this being a really great way to make a super delicious dish that would work well for people who are vegetarian and not vegetarian alike. Because oftentimes the complaint that I hear from people who are not a fan of vegetarian food is that it doesn't have a lot of flavor, which just means you didn't add enough flavor. Because that's really
not
good.
A problem here.
It's really good.
The flavor is good. I would just like it delivered with meat. Rather prefer. It's fine as is.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have several servings of this.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
All right then.
And that little bit of heat just adds something.
It's barely there for me, which is great because I don't really like spicy.
Mm-hmm.
So like, this is great for that.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going back for seconds, but looks like we're getting another one. So we're gonna probably finish off this pan, but thank you very much for joining us. Definitely give this a try if you want something super tasty, easy, and flavorful.
And vegetarian.
Yeah. And we will catch you next time with another fun dish. Oh my God.